dosage of drama for our clubs in Carling Cup action last night. Darlington won through on penalties, but York City won't be joining them in the second round.
Darlington put the pressure on from the start, and star of the show, new boy Glenn Robson, signalled his intent early on, letting one fly from a tight angle which the keeper could only parry. Minutes later, Craig Liddell rattled the crossbar. Robson got ahead to the rebound, but put it over. Goalless after 90 minutes, Robson was never going to let it lie and almost clinched it for the Quakers in extra time, the crossbar the only obstacle to his glancing header. When it came to the spot kicks, Darlington was spot on, Barry Conlon showing the way. It was Tom Kearney's dreadful miss for Bradford which finally gave the Quakers the advantage. And Robson became the hero of the night after making it 5 out of 5 to take Darlington through to the second round. There was no...
George opened his doors and had 11,500 of his closest friends round for the afternoon yesterday. Yes, the Reynolds Arena, Darlington's new home, is up and running.
The only thing I ever done, I promised Darlington 3 things. 1 was to pay off the debts, 2 to build a new stadium, and 3 to get in the Premier Division. And I've fulfilled 2 of them dreams up to now, and I don't think I've done a bad job.
I think it's wonderful, and he's done a wonderful job, and George Reynolds, well done.
Absolutely superb. It's the bee's knees. I never expected this, and I've been following down for 44 years.
This is a new era for us. I think we'll go places now. Who would have ever thought that Darlington would have ended up with this? Like some fans said to me the other day, an old boy, lovely man, he's 81, he said, I'm only pleased I'm alive to see it. He said, I never dreamt we'd end up with this.
It was a wonderful day for Darlington, up to a point. Unfortunately, it was up to the point that the match kicked off. It was then that Mr. Anticlimax, who'd been queuing outside for an hour, came in and made himself at home. The Quakers didn't perform, clearly a worry for Mick Tate. The first goal at the Reynolds Arena was one to remember. Sadly, it was scored by Kidderminster's Danny Williams, whose free kick gave the new goal nets a stern test of character. Just a few minutes later, another great goal, another Harriers goal. Andy Bishop with the floating finish, and Darlington's first day in their new home was going to end in defeat. The 11,500 fans who'd made it such a joyous occasion left disappointed that their boys got the stage fright.
We played as if we had stage fright. Took too long on everything, dwelt on the ball, got caught on the ball, the passing was awful, and it was a bit like that, you know. But you know, they've got to grow up and be men straight away. You know, you come into a new stadium, and we've got a lot of young kids in there, youngsters, but you know, they're doing a man's job, so they've got to act like men.
Let's do the good stuff first. Lovely stadium.
Unbelievable. I mean, as I said, I was stuck in the traffic with everybody else, and they delayed the kick-off. You drive up to the arena, and I just couldn't wait for the game to start. Sun was shining, the people were speaking to, the fans coming in, loads of excitement, and the trouble is when you have arenas or stadiums, and you want to be entertained, and to say it went down like a lead balloon. I mean, George is going to be ringing up now. He says he's got 3 things. He wants to get in the Premiership. I'm sorry, with that kind of performance, they're heading in the wrong direction. They're going to have the best stadium in the conference, and I'm sorry to say it, that the performance right through, the formation was wrong, the lads didn't perform. And then from 11,600 people turning up to see, you know, a great occasion, you know, you need them to come back. And I just felt so sorry for the supporters. And I'm going to try and put pressure on George for me to say it, but he's invested all this money, and I think it's great what he's done. But sooner or later, he's put the cart before the horse. You need a team. The fans want to see a team. They want to see a team that can compete. And I'm sorry, but that team won't be able to compete in that division.
That's the problem, like you touched on there. It was their big chance, wasn't it? A big crowd coming through the doors on the first day, and you want them to come back.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if... Try and use the teams around you. I mean, I looked at it, said to yourself, Simon, I saw the pitch and I thought, fantastic. It was beautiful playing surface, but it was enormous. I looked at it, it was a big pitch, and I thought, well, they must be playing a nice open game. And you've got to, if you're playing on a big pitch, you need to have one of the best teams in the division. And they played 4-3-3 and just played into Kidderminster's hands. It was all little things like that, just got on the wrong side. I mean, they're going to have to go around. Me personally, I think, trying to be to fill that stadium again. There's a lad at Port Vale, he'll fill the stadium. Williams, Robbie. That's the only way they've really got to invest. It's as simple as that. If they can go to Middlesbrough, go to Newcastle, get some players who are maybe not in the starting lineup, get them down there. They'll bring the players in, and it'll help the team go forward.
Well, it was the first game. I think we've got to give them all a chance. Fabulous stadium. Shame about the result.
Exactly. You can go forward from there. That's a good thing. It can't get any worse.
Very brave, John. If you need a reminder, David Darlow's come in and said the arena's great. George needs at least 5 quality signings or Darlow will be relegated. Get in touch with him.
Darlington dropped to rock bottom of the 3rd Division on Friday night. Northampton's Martin Smith curled his free kick past Andy Collett, leaving the Quakers with no points after 3 games. Leyton Orient provided the opposition in the second game hosted at the Reynolds Arena. The impressive stadium proved inspirational to the visitors as Lee Thorpe acrobatically pounced on a defensive error to give the O's the lead. But Quakers centre-half Matt Clark turned goalscorer and then provider to seal a dramatic comeback. It looked as though Darlington would have to settle for the point, but with 90 minutes on the clock, the irrepressible Clark made a storming run down the left. His inch-perfect cross found Hughes, and the volley gave Mick Tate 3 points to lift Darlington off the bottom of the table.
In September.